Good morning, guys. It's the morning. Just as I was going to bed last night, I was checking through my Google News pages, and I noticed that there was a story about a lady called Ivy Bean who had just passed away. And she was Britain's oldest tweeter. She was 104. She passed away in her sleep, so, you know, sad, but she sounds like she'd had a good life. But it set me off thinking. It set me off thinking about the ways in which the internet has changed. And it's not just the technology, it's not just the latest flash apps, it's not just the latest sites, it's the fact that someone of 104 is using the internet. And when I think back to the infancy of the internet, it was almost exclusively geeks and young people, you know. I guess first of all there were your pioneers who were sitting there with their dial-up modems and their news boards and things, and then it got to the stage where the general public were all using the internet, and now it's got to the stage where someone of 104 is tweeting. And to all intents and purposes, that's giving them a life that they couldn't possibly have in their care home without the internet, a social connection, as it were, somewhere where they can discuss what's going on in their life, because there's a tendency, I think, as people get older, to assume that there is nothing going on in their life. You know, they just sit in an armchair watching TV. But no, if someone can have a computer and the internet, it can also give them a certain degree of independence, because you can now shop for your groceries online. So it might mean that rather than having to depend on friends and family to bring food round, you can order your groceries online and have them delivered. That will give you independence for longer than you would have had at one time. Now, I suppose there's a downside to that aspect, in that maybe where you would have had your relatives come and bring you some groceries or whatever, you live a more isolated life. There's upsides and downsides, because obviously they don't need to, so you don't see them. But there's a certain level of communication there that you don't get from just sitting or listening to the radio or watching the TV. And I don't know, it just started me thinking about those kind of things. And I wonder, what do you think? Do you think that that's the big change? I think in the last 3 years there haven't been huge changes in the internet and technology. I mean, obviously the social networking phenomenon has blown up out of all proportion, but in general the actual technological side, but the actual way in which it is impacting on society and the people who it's connecting to. I see this constant stream of people of older years, as it were, who are getting a new lease of life from the ability to communicate and keep up with their loved ones on Facebook, and getting a contact that they wouldn't necessarily have. On another note, on another note, I woke up this morning and I thought I'd check my YouTube subscriptions. YouTube. What's this silly little bar across the bottom of my screen? Doesn't even seem to work properly. Automatically goes into autoplay and you have to turn it off manually. I mean, hopefully they'll sort that out like they did with the little switch at the side. But why? Why you had this nice tidy page and now you've got this little grey strip at the bottom? And I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe it is good or exciting, but it doesn't seem to do anything that nothing did before, you know? It doesn't seem to have added anything to the experience for me. I'm all for things that add experience, you know? And maybe I've always thought a live chat room attached to each video would be great, you know? I know you've got the video comments, but if you had 2 or 3 people watching the same video at the same time, or a little live chat room where you could be chatting about the video, might be interesting. But silly strips in little navigation bars at the bottom of the screen, I don't think so. Anyway, I haven't done one of these for a while. I did actually do a couple and didn't upload them because, well, I felt a bit like I was just making them for the sake of it, and I might upload bits from those later on in the year, maybe when the winter comes, because they're quite summery and I'm out here in the morning. It's a little bit cooler now. It's not, our heat wave is over, hence the thicker pyjamas, but it's still warm enough to sit outside at 6:30 in the morning and make a vlog, and that's nice. Yeah, so that's why I haven't. I figured I was on a roll. I felt like I don't know about you guys, but I was enjoying doing the morning vlogs, and then I just hit a point where it felt like I was just on the 2 that I didn't upload. They did feel a bit like I was just doing it for the sake of it, and that's why there's been a bit of a gap and I haven't kept ploughing out with more and more and more. But yeah, I've thought about it, and today I had this little thing that I noticed. I hope you're all keeping well. Take care, guys. I'll see you later.
We're gonna party till the police come. Party!